We have another entrepreneur or servicer of entrepreneur in in our makeshift studio here in the hotel. We have David Moynihan of McLane, Graff, Rollerson, and Middleton. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Whew, big test there. I had a pass. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
Why
We're
don't you
actually
tell-
rebranding ourselves as just McLane.
Oh, McLane.
Make it easier.
I was going to say. So why don't you tell us about MGR&M?
There you go. I'll go with that as well. Well, we're a firm that's coming up on our 100th anniversary. Started in 1919 in Manchester, New Hampshire. And back in 2008, I joined the McLane firm, having a long career in a couple of real estate development firms as general counsel.
Okay.
And in 2008, my job was to open the first office outside of New Hampshire.
Oh.
And I did that over at the Trade Center building here in Woburn. And that's how I got to know Panther Properties, for example.
Oh, interesting. So,
You're saying real estate is your area of practice.
That's correct. We're a full-service law firm, have almost 100 attorneys, been around almost 100 years, so
Wow.
100 and 100. Let's put
that's
it that
a lot
way.
of attorneys.
It is. And this office grew from me in 2008 to we're about 22, 23 now, planning to be to about 25 to 30 within the next year or so. So we're growing rapidly. We're now the largest satellite office of the law firm. So we
Wow.
have 4 offices altogether.
Give our listeners a sense of what you do as a real estate attorney.
Well, since this is the Radio Entrepreneurs Network, we really do deal with entrepreneurs. And you're correct, we're a service organization for entrepreneurs. So what do? I have a client that's interested in leasing space. They're starting a new business. Maybe there's 3 employees, maybe there's 10, and they have a nice business plan that suggests that within 3 to 5 years they'll have 30 employees, so they're looking at space, and they want expansion rights, options to renew, perhaps the right to terminate the lease. So they come to someone like myself, who does this day in and day out, and I help them get the right space, link up with the right realtors or brokers in the area to find the right space, and then put together an agreement that meets with their business objectives.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the financing also.
Yes, we do. We do the financing if need be. Sometimes it's venture capital funding, so we deal with that. Or we deal with, if it's a straight loan with a bank, we work with that. And sometimes it's, angel investing.
You find it's a very competitive field that you're in?
Yes, and it really varies by specialty. There's a lot of residential closing attorneys, as some people would refer to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a bread and butter, very critical niche in the economy. People that are buying a house, buying a condominium for the first time or maybe second time, they're borrowing money and they need somebody to look at the title, write the title insurance, and make sure that the property conveyed properly to them and the loans are done. That's one market. We don't really do that area. We tend to really focus primarily on the commercial side. A lot of our the spin-off work that comes to me comes from our trust and estates practice, very large practice group in our firm, wealthy clients. Wealthy people usually have multiple properties, and then they either moving them into trust, selling them, or buying new properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I do an awful lot of work for existing clients of the firm as well as my own. So it's busy.
Do you find that working in a law firm is different now than it was 10 years ago?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't really technically work in a law firm 10 years ago. I was in-house counsel, but I used to hire a lot of outside firms to help on various matters that we couldn't handle in-house. But I would say that practitioners do say that the practice, probably a little longer, more like 20 years ago, was a little different. The last 10 years, it hasn't changed appreciably, is what they tell me. I know my father was an attorney, and he had a lot of clients here on the Route 128 belt, but he was a solo. And he was an expert on government contracting and tax law. But as his clients grew, they outgrew him.
Sure.
So you were talking earlier about the entrepreneur. So he was a great startup lawyer. But then when they got a little too big and they wanted to go public or something, they needed expertise. At McLane, we're able to handle that. We can go from the small beginning shop all the way up to someone doing a bond deal to going public.